Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with a full review of the Orei UHD-EXM500-K HDMI extension kit. This product was engineered to make it incredibly easy for you to share all of your HDMI media content with a second remote location up to 500 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content and is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 1.4 and 2.2 compliant, so you know it's going to work fine with all of your modern media equipment. The transmitter module features local loopback functionality, which allows you to enjoy the content at the primary site while you're simultaneously sharing it with your remote location. The kit includes a set of infrared blasters as well that will collect up the remote control signals from that second location and pass those back digitally over the same LAN cable to the primary location where they're rebroadcast so you can remotely control the content you're watching. And finally, the product can operate in a one-to-one relationship with a single transmitter and a single receiver, or a one-to-many, which allows you to distribute the same content to multiple remote locations at the same time. Now, as part of this review, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and then I'll take a closer look at the transmitter and the receiver modules and explain the connections and indicators so you understand exactly how to use the product. And I'll also point out a few things that make this a pretty special product that you can use to compare it to other products you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module, two power supplies, one for the transmitter and one for the receiver. And these are standard DC 5 volt 1 amp power supplies. You can plug this end into any wall outlet. The other end has a barrel connection on it which plugs into the back of the module and provides all the power you'll need for operation. You'll find two infrared blasters in the kit as well. One's labeled infrared in, one's labeled infrared out, and it's important you plug those into the correct module. The infrared in plugs into the receiver, the infrared out plugs into the transmitter. This one collects up the remote control signals, this one rebroadcasts it at the primary site. Also included with the kit is a warranty card and a full instruction manual that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and a lot of other really good information about the product you'll need to understand in order to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at both modules, and then I'll point out a few things that really separate this from a lot of other HDMI extension kits on the market. Inside the kit, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module. Both of these feature full metal enclosures, which make them incredibly durable and really the perfect choice for both residential and commercial installations. Let's start with the transmitter module. On either side of the cabinet, you'll find ventilation slots that are designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape and keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. You'll also find mounting holes on each side that can be used with the included bracketing kit to mount these modules up off the ground and out of the way. On the front of the module, starting on the left, you'll find a reset button. You can tap that for a couple of seconds to reset the module if needed. To the right of that is a power indicator. The minute you add power to the module, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test where it's checking the electronics, and once it passes that test, it'll light that LED letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that is a synchronization LED. The minute you make a connection to the receiver over a LAN cable, the communication between the two modules start, and that will blink, showing you've got data traffic across that LAN. To the right of that is an RS-232 connection. This product will not only extend media content to the remote location, but you can also extend RS-232 control signals. And if you'd like to use that feature, you can use the connection blocks that are included with the kit to make a connection right there. To the right of that is another port labeled upgrade, and that's a micro USB port. That's used for updating firmware on the module later on if new versions are released. And to do that upgrade, you can connect this to your computer with a micro USB cable, move the firmware file to the module to complete that upgrade. On the rear of the modules where you'll make even more connections, starting on the left, you'll find an infrared blaster port labeled IR out. That's a 3.5mm port used with the infrared blaster. Make sure you plug the one in that says IR out right there. To the right of that is a full-sized HDMI connection, and that connects to whatever media device you'd like to share the content from with your remote location. Use a high-speed cable. To the right of that is another full-sized HDMI port labeled HDMI out. The transmitter provides local loopback functionality, which allows you to enjoy the content here that you're simultaneously sharing with your remote location. And if you'd like to take advantage of that, you can simply connect another monitor up here with an HDMI cable to enjoy that content. To the right of that is a LAN port. That's where one end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable plugs in between the transmitter and the receiver. And then to the right of that is a DC input port, and that's where you'll plug in the included power supply. So just plug that into a wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs in right there. And now we'll take a look at the receiver. Again, on the front of the unit, you'll find the reset button, power indicator, synchronization indicator, RS-232 connection, micro USB for the upgrade, ventilation slots on either side as well as mounting. On the back, you'll find another 3.5mm port that's used with the other infrared blaster, and you'll want to plug the one in here that says infrared in, and that's going to pick up those remote control signals to send back to the transmitter. To the right of that is another LAN port. That's where the other end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable plugs in. To the right of that is a full-sized HDMI port labeled HDMI out, and that's where you'll connect your monitor at the remote location that you'd like to enjoy the content on. And then finally, to the right of that is a DC port, and again, that's used with the included power supply. Plug it into a wall outlet, plug the barrel connection in the back, and you'll have all the power you need for operation. I hope that closer look was helpful. Now here are a few really important things to keep in mind when you're comparing the Orei UHD-EXM500-K HDMI extension kit with other products you may be considering. The first thing has to do with the distance between the primary and secondary locations. This product fully supports 500 feet of distance over a Cat6 or a Cat7 cable. And that's different than a lot of other HDMI extension kits, which may limit that distance to 100 feet or even 200 feet. So knowing you've got a kit that'll extend the content up to 500 feet gives you a lot of flexibility on where you locate that secondary site. Another big difference is the fact that this product fully supports 4K ultra high definition media content at up to 60 frames a second. A lot of other kits on the market may support 4K, but it may only be 30 frames a second, or they may limit you to 1080p content. So knowing you've got a product that can handle 4K at 60 frames a second means you're going to have a crystal clear picture at your remote location. Another important difference is the fact that this kit is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 1.4 and 2.2 compliant. And the reason that's important is because the HDMI standard has gone through a lot of changes in recent years. There have been a lot of new features introduced. So knowing you're on the latest version of HDMI for 4K means you can take advantage of all those features. The HDCP certification is important as well because that controls copy protection. So knowing you're on the latest version of HDCP for 4K means you can play all of your copy protected files without issue. Another big advantage is the local loopback functionality this product provides because that allows you to simultaneously watch the content at the primary site while you're sharing it with your remote location. The inclusion of the infrared blasters is another benefit because they'll collect up the remote control signals from that remote location and pass those back to the primary site so you can remotely control the content you're watching. And finally, this system can operate again in either a one-to-one relationship or a one-to-many, so all you have to do is add another receiver to distribute the same content to 2 locations or 3 or 4 or 5, so you can expand the system as needed, again, to distribute that content to multiple locations at the same time. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections you can be up and running in no time. I've been using this kit for quite some time. I've got a transmitter down in the basement and I've got a receiver upstairs in the bedroom, and it just works really well. So I like it a lot, and I think you're going to like it a lot as well. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, as always, stay nerdy.